It was the beginning of the end for ABBA. Both marriages had ended in divorce, and it seemed as if the tension between the four had grown. Bjorn and Agneta had divorced in 1979, with Benny and anni-frid's divorce being in the same year as the release of their last album, The Visitors, in 1981. The sense of disunity was implied by the fact that there are no songs with duets on the album. The Day Before You Came was the last song recorded by ABBA in the 20th century, when it was recorded in Polar Music Studios on the 20th of August 1982. It was then released as a 7-inch single on the 18th of October 1982. In fact, both this song and Under Attack were part of an unfinished album that would have followed ABBA's LP, The Visitors.
It did not reach number 1 anywhere in the world. Its highest chart position was number 2 in Finland. It peaked at 32 in the UK charts, and did not even break into the US charts.
Surely this was a sign that ABBA had been creatively exhausted. Before we get into some analysis, there are a few theories going around about this song's true meaning. The first theory is that the protagonist is a ghost recalling the day before her death. The you in this song is death. The second theory is similar to the previous one, but the protagonist is recalling the day before their murder. This can be implied from rattling on the roof, I must have heard the sound of rain. It wasn't rain, but the sounds of an intruder. It is significant that this is actually the penultimate line of the song. Another theory suggests that the protagonist is a murderer. The lyrics are somewhat similar to a witness statement, as it is as if she is recounting her day to the police with the time she did specific activities. Further evidence to prove this is that there is a discrepancy in the times she provides. It takes the protagonist 1 hour and 15 minutes to get to work, but 3 hours to get back home. However, the most plausible theory is that the song is about the day before an emotional encounter with a man. It wasn't necessarily successful, but it made the protagonist see what was missing in her life. The beauty of describing the banal details leaves the implication that the next day was so extraordinary. This makes more sense considering the diminished chords in this song. Diminished chords sound unfinished, and so they imply that there is something unresolved. The fact that Agneta is the only one that sings the lyrics stresses the protagonist's loneliness and isolation. In the music video, the sky is very dark in the beginning, which may also reflect the protagonist's life as gloomy. Anni-frid's only part is obscure but very effective. She provides a desolate chant between the second and third verse, as well as at the end of the song. In this way, the protagonist's anguish and isolation is conveyed. One strange thing about this song is that it has a very monotonous quality, but it's not boring. There are many motifs alluding to the protagonist's mundane life. The repetition of the phrase I must have gives the sense of predictability, and the actions that the narrator does are done with such inertia that she doesn't realise what she is doing. Her life is pretty cyclical. Furthermore, the way Agneta sings the lyric
I've done it ever since I finished school
shows her dissatisfaction, as the ooze sound in school forces out a grimace or uncontrollable crying. Moreover, the music never moves away from melancholy. The song is at an andante pace, which means it's at a walking pace. The synth hooks and melody moves in small steps, and usually in music, if a singer sings large leaps, it feels more expansive and expressive. In this case, it's quite the opposite, and it reflects the protagonist of the song, not thinking big. The culmination of undertones of misery and scattered words relating to everyday life, such as train, TV and Chinese food, reflect the ups and downs in the life of an ordinary woman. This is also reflected in the progression of the verses, where they move through an arc of rising and falling. Bjorn would incorporate this in his later works for other artists and various theatre productions. In his book, ABBA, Let the Music Speak, Christopher Patrick says the final sequence in the music video, in which the train shunts off into oblivion, leaving in its wake a bleak and deserted railway station, is a fitting metaphor for ABBA, having reached the end of their creative partnership. The song was covered by the English duo Blancmange 2 years later in 1984.
I must have left my house today because I always do. My train, I'm certain, left the
This song has more of an 80s touch to it.
I must have read the morning paper going into town, and having gotten through the editorial, no doubt I must have frowned. I must have made my desk around the 9:15, with letters to be read and
Day Before You Came has also come 6th place in NME's 2012 countdown of the greatest pop songs in history. ABBA's last interview together was on the Noel Edmonds Late Late Breakfast show. The interview is a bit awkward to say the least, with the group's tense body language coupled with Noel Edmonds' intrusive questions.
The papers recently have been full of stories that you're going to split eventually. You're not, no.
Bjorn Ulvaeus has said that if The Day Before You Came was a hit, the four would have persevered with ABBA, as the song was a profound change in direction for the group. This was the group's penultimate appearance as a four, with the last coming in 1986. They ended this TV appearance rather fittingly.
Special. In fact, I'm a bit of a bore. If I tell a joke, you've probably heard it before. But I have a talent, a wonderful thing, 'cause everyone listens when I start to sing. I'm so grateful and proud.